Don't keep it here, please take it back.
We can be seated. Thank Comrade Ayuba Wamba, President, Nigeria Labour Congress. I am very proud that many years after I had served my term, that we have maintained such a level of cordial relationship, and that on a day like this, you didn't allow me to be surrounded only by my, if I might say so, my new political associate, and that you bring to this room the spirit of the working people of our great country, on whose sweat our economy is based and driven. And through you, I want to appreciate all the other comrades who join you to participate in this declaration. It is extremely important because I know you are not a card-carrying member of any political party. But as we have always maintained when I was in the NLC, not to belong to a political party is not to be neutral on matters affecting the future of our great country. I want to thank you for being here for me and for being here today. Ladies and gentlemen, today's business is very straightforward. And I'm not able to change from my old tradition of not reading speeches. Maybe because when I was in primary school and later secondary school, those who taught us how to read may not have been our best teachers, but they also taught us how to cram. And sometimes we cram so much that we even cram what we don't know what it means. I also think that sometimes the gap between what leaders say in formal gatherings such as this and what they do when they get to office can be explained by the gap that exists between the thoughts of the leader or the speaker and what the speechwriter think the speaker should say. And so I am going to try to speak to you, and I will allow the defenders of the right to know, the right to hear, the right to be informed, which represent the fourth, the only permanent fourth estate of the realm. They are the only one who don't have to bother about congresses, primaries, and no tenure. You are at the mercy of your proprietors. My task this afternoon is simply straightforward, to announce very formally my intention by the special grace of God to contest for the office of the national chairman of the governing party in Nigeria today, the All Progressive Congress. I thought it is important that I make this formal declaration of intention to contest, even though somehow this is just one of those what cannot be regarded as public secret. Somehow my candidature has been discussed in both the print and the electronic media, in beer parlors, in business houses, maybe with the exception of Baki halls, where only people who are defined as high net worth individuals are discussed. But I guess in every gathering of men and women who are concerned about our democracy, somehow my possible candidature has become an issue for conversation. But this is because of the way this whole project has evolved. But let me say that this is not to suggest that I am a reluctant candidate. I am not. I'm going for it because I think I can add value. I think, as President Obama said a few months back, you don't seek changes because these are bad. You do so because anything and everything can just be better. And whoever and however we can make things better, I think it will be worth our while. It is on that basis that I offer myself to contest for the office of National Chairman of our great party. But in proceeding, I want to start by appreciating the laudable efforts and all the struggles, time and materials, day and night, that was invested by the founding members or founding leaders of the All Progressive Congress. I choose deliberately not to use the word founding fathers as every other politician would want to say. Because in truth, women were also involved in that struggle. The reason I will use founding mothers is because I am not so sure that all those who were involved were mothers already. I think it's suffice, therefore, to talk about the founding leaders of our great party. In particular, I think it is just right and fair that on this occasion, I acknowledge and I appreciate the solid foundation that was laid by the first interim chairman of this great party, a former governor of Oshiomhole State, Chief BC Akande, along with other interim members of the Central Working Committee who worked tirelessly to convey against all obstacles, including those deliberately placed on our way by the former governing party, the PDP, that did everything possible to make the historic merger impossible. I think as we write the history of political party and development in Nigeria, it is important that we find sufficient space to acknowledge that for the first time in the history of our country, 4.5 or so political parties came together to form one party and proceeded within months to contest elections at all levels, including the presidential election, and by the special grace of God, using the Nigerian people, my great party, the All Progressive Congress, won the presidency, won 24 out of 36 states, and I believe we won a couple of hundreds of House of Reps, senators, and state houses of assembly. Let me also say that it is right on occasions such as this to appreciate the efforts of the current sitting chairman, my own brother, my own elder, but also, incidentally, one of my predecessors, the first governor of Edo State, Chief John Odige Oyegu. I want to place on record my gratitude and my appreciation of the leadership he has provided. Whatever anybody wants to say, I believe he cheered the party to victory in the 2015 election. And history will record that in his favor, along with other laudable things he has done to keep our party afloat up to this moment. Having acknowledged that we have a city chairman, why am I seeking to contest for the same office? I am seeking to contest for the same office, again, based on the principle that in the 21st century, in the past, the conservative notion was, if it is not broken, you don't mend it. But in the digital world, anything and everything can get better. For those of you who use electronic cameras such as this, I'm sure you will look at the camera of your colleague and you say, I have the latest edition. And this one had more features than the previous edition. But they are all good cameras. So I am contesting, just for the record, I am contesting not because I think there is a leadership failure. I am contesting because I think, as is expected in our constitution, of our party, and even of our country, democracies work better when from time to time, new blood, new ideas, and new people hungry to make a difference are given the opportunity to build on the foundation that those currently in office have laid or are laying. As I'm sure we all know, our party was registered by the Independent National Electoral Commission on the 13th of July 2013. And we have moved on and made substantial progress since then. The All Progressive Congress, the word progressive was not chosen as a mere name. It was consciously chosen by the founding leaders and members of the party to have a party that is different from the other political parties, particularly the immediate past ruling party, the PDP. We founded the All Progressive Congress on the basis of social democracy, a party that is committed to the people, driven by its members, and committed to providing a platform, not just for people to seek election, but to provide a style of government that is pro-people, pro-poor, and pro-masses. That is why it is progressive. It seeks to depart from the previous order to a new order. That is why our motto was consciously adopted as change. However, having committed ourselves to building a progressive party, there are a couple of things I believe are fundamental that we must continue to pay attention to as members of the All Progressive Congress. The first is to try to revisit what seems simple, a simple question. Who is APC and what constitutes APC? In my view, APC is the association, a voluntary, structured association of all of its members. It belongs to all those who are card-carrying members of the All Progressive Congress. And the basis, therefore, of contract between these members is the Constitution of the All Progressive Congress that regulates the affairs and conduct of the party across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. That Constitution is the basis of the contract among the members. However,
let me say to all Nigerians, before you get deceived again, about this man, President Muhammad Buhari. What I see him as somebody who have kept quiet, silent. And I do not know of any president in this country that has made calm with his people without reply of even wrong accusations. Buhari is not just a president. Buhari is a leader. All why we are supporting Adam Oshiomhole is to see that strong party chairman that will be behind him. I want to urge all Nigerians to support President Muhammad Buhari. And it will not be too far from now when you understand why God sent President Muhammad Buhari at this point in time. That we today have a nation that we can still be proud of is because of the coming of President Muhammad Buhari. Without this man coming at the time he came in, probably we will not be seated here today talking about Nigeria and Nigerian politics. So you must, as a matter of urgency, tell everybody that Buhari should be supported. Let me inform that all my colleagues, the governors of APC, Oshiomhole is our project. He understands us, we understand him. If you don't know Oshiomhole, you might think he's too tough. This man is a very soft-hearted person. If not, he cannot be married the type of woman he's married. So, he's ours. And I tell you that all my colleagues, no one was invited for this occasion. I wasn't invited because we were expecting you to come to our various zones and declare. But I was just passing and I learned out that Oshiomhole is addressing people. So I came in here to show my support and endorsement because of what we represent and what we stand for. Go ahead. PDP is making so much noise now. So much noise that they need to be silenced. And the only silencer is Adam. I hear PDP shouting everywhere. You know, in this thing called politics, it's a game of shamelessness. I don't know what integrity, audacity, reputation that PDP has to come back to Nigerians to ask for their votes. It's only in Nigeria a thing like that will happen. So soon they have forgotten where they took Nigeria to. When we had all the opportunities in this world, oil went to 120 naira per barrel, $120 per barrel. And yet, this country was languishing in pains and poverty and crisis. The crisis in all this part of this country started with PDP. And all of a sudden, they have forgotten the damage caused in this country and they're asking Nigerians to forgive them and give them support. Well, let me say, we may forgive them, and we are forgiving PDP, but we shall not forget all their antecedents. God bless you.